I'm Terry Sacka, and this is Rigged Against You. Today, we're going to discuss the shocking truth about money in the bank. And I know we talk a little bit about this and you hear things about money in the bank, but you need to really understand exactly what it is and the truth behind it. Because I think if you do, you'll feel a little bit better about diversifying out into the assets that central banks are buying. And you have to understand when the central banks are buying gold, there is a reason for it. They don't want to hold treasuries. They don't want to hold US dollars because it's losing so much value. They do not want that in the reserve. They want gold in the reserve. And that's why gold is continuing to climb as it moves towards 5,000 and silver moves towards $150. So before I get going, please consider subscribing, hit the bell. I don't do too many podcasts. And when I do, it's actually really good information and you will be notified so you can watch it. But one great inventor and man in our country said it the best. Henry Ford. It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. And he is right about that. We are living in a faith mode with the financial system. We just trust it. We as Americans just say, okay, it's working. Let's just leave it alone. We don't want to have to think about it. The fact is, you need to know the truth. And this is beyond the fact that everything in the bank, everything in the stock market, your stocks are considered unsecured collateral and defined legally as collateral to the debt of the financial system. It's not titled in your name. So let's get started with this. There are three basic truths. The money is not yours. The money isn't actually there, and the money isn't really money. Now, gold is real money. Money is defined as storage of value over time. That is gold as it continues to rise in value. And our buying power holding the currency isn't real money. It is currency, fiat currency, and it is going down in value. How do we know that? Not by what CNBC says that the value of the dollar is. It's what it buys you. And we all know how expensive everything is. If we're fortunate, they can stop inflation from rising, but you will see these prices that we see now in most products, not all. Granted, some things will come down, but for the most part, things will stay at the level they are. We need to make more in wages in order to keep a standard of living. But more importantly, we need to generate economic growth. And I think that's where Trump is trying to get us to. But remember, President Trump walked into a hornet's nest. This will not be easy. They want to beat him up being there a few months. This is a major, major problem he's walking into and he has to resolve. And politics in the middle of it is not making it that easy. So I'm going to continue here with these three truths. Truth number one, money isn't yours. Many people are shocked to learn that they don't actually own the money in their bank accounts. Once you deposit money, it's no longer your personal property. I know many believe it is. It legally belongs to the bank. You have given them a loan and they can do whatever they want with it. What you do own is simply a promise from the bank, an IOU to pay you back. In reality, depositing money is the same as giving the bank an unsecured loan, often with little or no interest to compensate for the risk. So many people sit with hundreds of thousands of dollars in a bank and they think, oh, I've worked my whole life. I better leave it in the bank and keep it secure. You have no idea what secure means because it's actually unsecured loan and you're just basically trusting the bank. Now, if the banks were really this strong, Why are the central banks around the world continuing to buy gold? We are coming up to an epic global financial transformation. I know many think Trump is the savior. He will do a darn good job for what he is given, but we are going through a reset and a radical transformation of our financial system, period. And there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. So myth number 2, the money isn't actually there. As a matter of fact, if most people show up to get the money out of the bank, it won't be there. The money you think that is in your bank account doesn't actually exist. Banks don't keep physical cash in the vaults for every depositor. They don't even hold enough digital funds to cover a small fraction of withdrawals. In fact, during COVID mass psychosis time, the U.S. government removed reserve requirements, meaning banks no longer needed to keep any cash on hand for withdrawals. So where did all the money go is the question. Behind the scenes, banks use your money to place risky bets on speculative investments. They're gambling with your life savings, often recklessly. And a lot of the banks are being forced to buy U.S. Treasuries. The U.S. Treasury bonds are being just eaten up by the banks because they have to. No one else in the world are buying our treasuries, and we keep creating debt. We are trillions every year in the negative in debt because we don't make enough as a nation. We are literally an empire at the end of a rope. We do have opportunity to change that, but there's going to be radical transformation to take place before that can happen. Number 3, the money isn't really money. Most people use currency every day, but rarely stop to ask, what is money really? It's like asking a fish, what is water? The fish doesn't notice until something goes wrong. Money is simply a good, like any other economy, and understanding what makes something good money is actually pretty straightforward. You don't need to study complex equations or economic theory, despite what academics and media elites might claim. At its core, money is just a tool for storing, exchanging value, a way to send value through time and space. Think of money as a claim on human time. It's stored energy or stored life. You go to work, you're earning money, but you're really earning currency going down in value. And now the alternative to this is go in the stock market. But I can tell you right now, with the way that stock market's going, it's down about 14% on the year. My guess, it probably goes down 40% before this is over. And then how long is it going to take for you to get back to break even? This is a phenomenal time to be owning silver. Why I would be calling Cornerstone Asset Metals and get yourself started on definitely diversifying a substantial amount into silver and gold, because the money isn't what you're earning anyway on a daily basis, and what you're saving isn't even real money. It's a fiat currency going down in value. But one form has stood the test of time, and that is gold. For 5,000 years, gold is mankind's most enduring form of money. Why central banks, even today, are accumulating gold at an extraordinary rate, even today. The amount of gold moving around the world behind the scenes, if you only knew, you would be making sure you had ample supply yourself. Gold didn't win the ultimate competition because the world's best form of money by accident or because some politic decreed it. It became money because countless individuals through history and across many different civilizations subjectively came to the same conclusion that gold is money. You can't make it, you can't fake it. Now they try, but you cannot. Gold is actually created, and this is really kind of a neat little side note, it is created when a star is born. So as a star is born and goes through the fusion process, that's where gold comes from. And that's why they can't create it or they can't make it. It is a very, very important point here going forward to understand our banking system is not what you think it is. We're not even talking about the hundreds of billions in commercial loans that have to be refinanced, the hundreds of banks that are literally in default state. They do not have the asset to back up the deposits. And yet so many people still rely on savings in the bank, CDs at the bank. You're in a CD, it's the same thing. Anything you do in the banking system, even in the brokerage firm, but in the banking system, it's not yours. Many people store it in a CD and they're getting paid less than what inflation is really out there doing. So why did they go to gold? What makes gold attractive as money? Well, here's why. Gold has a set of unique characteristics that make it suitable as money. Gold's durable, divisible. We can exchange it with one another. It's consistent, convenient, very scarce, and most importantly, it's the hardest of all physical commodities. In other words, gold is hard to produce relative to existing stockpiles and is the one physical commodity most resistant to inflation of its supply, which helps makes a good store of value and an essential function of money. And in conclusion, the banking system is a fragile illusion, one that could collapse at any moment, wiping out the savings of millions who wrongly trust it. That trust hinges on people not understanding three simple truths. The money isn't yours, the money isn't actually there, and the money isn't really money. Bottom line, the banking system is a mile-high house of cards, and it could come crashing down at any moment. Do not wait until it's too late. Take steps now to protect your wealth. And I believe the banking system is headed for a serious problem. Why the reset is in play and why central banks are buying gold at a fierce pace. Few people are aware of what is really happening, and even fewer know how to prepare for it. I know we keep hearing about this stuff. You have to understand it's going to happen in a blink of an eye. It'll probably be on a long 3-day holiday or on a Sunday night when you can't do anything about it. But all I know is behind the scenes, there's a reason BRICS is developing. There's a reason central banks are buying gold. And there's a reason everyone is getting in position with some other form of commodity. They will not even accept U.S. treasuries at ports of delivery anymore. They do not want U.S. treasuries in form of payment. They're losing value over time with them. They want gold. Are you really prepared? Are you tired of hearing about this? Well, I think you'll find that if you don't make a proper decision to diversify, when gold is $5,000 or $7,000 and silver is $150 and the paper you're holding doesn't buy you what you think, you're going to look back and remember, this is the one time you should have heeded the wisdom. So until next time, God bless you.
With all of the recent changes in the political and financial markets, there has never been a better time than right now to invest in silver and gold. When governments simply print billions of dollars in paper money in hopes of solving financial shortfalls, you know that it is time to buy and hold assets of true and lasting value. Free information is available to you right now by calling 888-747-3309. Whether you are a new investor or you're interested in preserving the value of your retirement accounts, we make it easy for you to make smart decisions for your financial future. The specialists at Cornerstone are here to serve you, work to satisfy your retirement goals, and communicate with respect. Call us right now at 888-747-3309. That's 888-747-3309. Or visit us online at cornerstoneassetmetals.com. That's cornerstoneassetmetals.com.